Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create this super cute water jets bracelet. This was created by Ebowie Looms on Instagram. I will have her link below so you can check out her page. And you can also find more of her own designs on her Flippergram account. So I'll have that link below as well for you. So this design here takes about 120 bands roughly. So there you have it. Without wasting any time, let's go ahead and get started. To make this bracelet, you do want to have a double-ended hook, and you'll also need just one C-clip for this. So I'm going to start with gold for my first section, so we'll make a cat band. And we're going to start with an 8-loop setup for this design. So we're going to pull the first band through the cat band. And we're going to pick up the left part of this cat band and get it back on our hook. And then reattach the other side of that band. Keep that in order. We're going to bring 2 more bands onto this side. So this first one, you're going to pull it through the first 2. You're going to skip the first band closest to your hook. Pick up the outside band, place it back on, and close it off. Bring 1 more. We'll do the same thing. Bring it through the first 2 bands. Skip the first band, pick up the second band, and then reattach that band. Slide it down. We need to open this side up before we start adding bands onto this side. So open this last band up, and we're going to scoop up the other part of that cat band, get it back on your hook, close it off. So keep those 2 end bands in that order, and we're going to do the same thing we did on the other side. So pull it through the first 2, skip the first band closest to your hook, pick up the outer band, and then reattach the one you were pulling through, and we need to do that 1 more time. Pull it through the first 2, pick up the outside band, get it back on your hook, and then reattach the one you're pulling through. So you should have a total of 8 bands up here. And now we'll go to our next part. So I am going to use the same color for the entire center. But the band we're pulling through right now is the white band that looks kind of like a U. So I'm going to grab my first one. And we're going to pull this through the first 6 bands. Hold on to that band, and then we now need to pick up all 6 of the bands that we just pulled that band through. Get all of those back on your hook, and then reattach the one you're pulling through. You want to do that gently because that blue band is not secure. I go like this to kind of push down on it. That way it doesn't pop out. So we want that blue sitting in the center. So we're going to rearrange the outer 2 gold bands. Make sure that blue doesn't pop out. So now we need to grab the same color again. We're going to be pulling it through the first 5 bands, and then we're going to pick up the 3rd and 5th band. We want to do this kind of quickly because you don't want that blue band to pop out. So be careful when you do this. So again, pull this through the first 5. Skip the first 2 bands, pick up the 3rd. Skip the 4th, pick up the 5th, and then reattach the band that you were pulling through. We want to rearrange these 2 end bands because we want that blue to sit on the inside. So just release that end band like that. We're going to slide it down so we can do the same thing on the other side. Now before we get started on this side, we need to make sure the bands are in the correct order. You see that blue band's getting ready to fall like out. So make sure that you go like this. You want to make sure those gold are still in the middle. The 3rd band should be whatever band you put through the center. So we're going to do that on this side. So I'm going to grab another blue. And again, we're going to pull this through the first 5. We're going to pick up the 3rd band closest to our hook and the 5th band, and then reattach that blue you pulled through. We want to rearrange the outer 2, like so. And it should look something like that. So now what we're going to do is take the 4th band, counting from the outside, it would be the 4th one, and we're going to cross it over the first 3. So you're going to need to give it a good stretch. Grab the 4th band, pull it way over, Crossing all 3 of those bands, you may want to slide everything down a little bit. Make sure you hold that in place. Now you can go back to gold or whatever you were using here, or you can switch to a new color because this will be a new section or the start of a new section. I'm going to use white. So we're going to be pulling this through the first 4 bands, and then we're going to pick up the 3rd band closest to our hook. So skip the first 2 and pick up the 3rd. And now we can reattach the white. We're going to pull 1 more through on the side. This one's going to go through the first 2 bands. You're going to skip the first band closest to your hook and pick up that outer band, and then reattach that white again. So now we're going to slide it down and turn it around so we can do the same thing on this side. Grabbing the 4th band in here, crossing it over the first 3. Hold that in place. Make sure it stays there. Grab a band, pull it through the first 4. You're going to skip the first 2 bands, pick up the 3rd one, and reattach that white. We're going to pull 1 more through on this side, pulling it through the first 2. Skip the first band closest to your hook, pick up the outer one, and reattach the one you were pulling through. So it should look something like that. That was one whole sequence. You should now have 8 bands up here on your hook, and we can start that pattern all over again. So I will go back to my blue. We'll start by pulling the center bands through again. So this first one's going to go through the first 6 bands. We need to pick up all 6 of those bands and get them back on our hook. So be careful here. Reattach the band you were pulling through. Remember that blue is not secure, so be very careful that it doesn't pop out. We're going to release these 2 end bands because we want that blue sitting in the center. Like that. We're going to grab another blue. We're going to be pulling this one through the first 5. We're going to skip the first 2 closest to our hook, pick up that 3rd band, also pick up the 5th band, and then reattach the outside blue. We're going to rearrange this outside band here, because you want that sitting on the outside of the band you just pulled through. So we're going to slide everything down so we can repeat that same thing on the side. Before you get started, make sure that the center band did not get rearranged. It should be the 3rd band here. And once you check that, we can go ahead and pull our band through this side. So again, this is going to go through the first 5. And we're going to skip the first 2, and we're going to pick up the 3rd band. Skip the 4th, pick up the 5th, and then reattach the outside band. Rearrange these 2 here. So it's sitting like that. And now we're going to go ahead and count in, get to that 4th band. The 4th one's going to cross over the first 3. Hold it there. I'm going to go back to my gold color now. We're going to pull this through the first 4. Skip the first 2 bands, pick up that 3rd one, and then reattach the band you pulled through. Slide it down so you can repeat on this side. Get that 4th band here, cross it over the first 3. Hold it in place. I'm going to grab another gold. Pull it through the first 4. Skip the first 2 bands, pick up the 3rd one, and then reattach that band you pulled through. What I didn't do on this side that I did last time before I flipped it, you actually need to pull another band through on both sides. And it's okay, I can do it now, but I usually do it before I flip the hook. It makes things easier. So I'm going to pull another one through the first 2 bands. We're going to skip the first band and pick up the outside band and then reattach the one you were pulling through. Since I didn't do that when I was on that side, I now have to slide it down again and do it now. So grab your band, pull it through the first 2, pick up that outside band, and then reattach the one you were pulling through. And I apologize about that. I don't like to switch up the way that I do it because then it may confuse you, but hopefully you guys picked that up. So I'm going to show you a few more times anyway so you'll get the hang of it if that did confuse you. So we're at the starting point of the sequence. So we're going to go back to my blue for my center. So I'm going to pull this through the first 6. I'm going to pick up all 6 bands and get them back on my hook. And then reattach the band that you're pulling through carefully. Rearrange these outside too, because you want that blue sitting in the center. Grab another band. We're going to pull this blue through the first 5. We're going to skip the first 2, pick up the 3rd and 5th band, get those back on your hook, and then reattach that outside band. And then rearrange so that blue's sitting in the center. Slide it down, and we'll repeat it on this side. I'm going to just pull on this band some because it's getting kind of tight in there. And now we'll repeat the same thing. And excuse my voice, it's getting scratchy. It's a little bit late here. So again, I'm going to pull this through the first 5. Pick up the 3rd band and the 5th band, get them back on your hook, and then reattach that band you were pulling through. And rearrange the outside 2 bands so that blue is inside. Like so. We're going to take this 4th band here. We're going to cross it over the first 3. Hold it in place. I'm going back to my weight since I'm alternating. You're going to pull it through the first 4 bands. You're going to skip the first 2 and pick up the 3rd and then reattach that band. This is where I messed up last time and I slid it down to do the other side, but I like to get this side done at the same time. So again, we're going to pull one more through to finish this side off. So pull it through the first 2, skip the first band, pick up that outside one, and reattach the band you were pulling through. Slide everything down. And we'll repeat now on the side. So we'll grab that 4th band in, cross it over the first 3. Every time I cross it over, I get blurry. Sorry, probably because I'm too close to the camera. So we're going to pull this through the first 4. We're going to skip the first 2 bands, pick up that 3rd one, and reattach the band you were pulling through. And I need one more weight for this side. So we'll go through the first 2, skip the first band, pick up the outside one, and then reattach. Since we are back at the start of the sequence, I'm going to go ahead and do it again, but I'm not going to give instructions this time. So when you do have enough length on the bracelet and you feel you're ready to close it up, you want to do all of the steps the same, except when you get to the point, which I'm not even there yet, so I should have waited to say it, but you want to still cross the 4th band over the 3 bands like we've been doing, and you're going to pull that band through just like before. And then you're going to reclaim the 3rd band and then reattach it. The only difference is you're not going to pull a 2nd band through. Remember the part where I messed up and didn't pull a 2nd one through? Well, that's what you would do to close it. So leave it like that. Come to the other side. Make sure you get the 4th band and cross it over the first 3, just like you did on the other side. Pull your band through. Pick up the 3rd band and then reattach that. And you would have 6 bands on your hook. And that is where you would pull 1 more band through everything on your hook. Bring it together, and that's where you would attach your C-clip. So I certainly hope that was enough instructions for you guys to make this super cute water jets bracelet. This was created by the talented Ebony Looms on Instagram. I will have her information below so you can check her out. You can also find more of her Flipagram, or excuse me, her designs on her Flipagram account. So I'll have that information below as well. Don't forget to tag both of us, Ebony Looms and Loves to Loom. If you make it, we'd love to see your renditions. So I definitely appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you real soon at my next video. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.